Universe by Rainbow Double Dash. Special episode Raindrops of Clan Drops, Barbarian Queen by Fizzy Orange. Chapter 1, only chapter Assault on the Dark Fortress. Raindrops smirked to herself as he approached the forbidding shape of the Dark Fortress of Ugn from within the large storm cloud. Stealing the storm from the lightning worm had been his nits. For such a fast creatures, they were particularly slow in the head and easy to fool. The Pegasus wondered they had even realized their heart was Sora Storm. Hidden by the dark stormy cloud, Raindrops had managed to approach the stronghold of Torka, the evil enchantress of the lizard people, completely undetected. From her vantage point in the dark cumulonimbus formation, she could see the archers slowly patrolling the parapets of the Onyx building, completely unprepared. Lightning arced all around her, thunder threatening to deafen her. Only a bold and courageous warrior like her would dare use a live storm as cover. She felt droplets of water running down her jasmine coat and turquoise mane, under her manticore hide armor. Her sandals would soak, but she didn't care. Time to make like the rain and wash away the filth, she said to herself, unsheathing her trusty sword, Sundraker, from her mouth. She climbed high into the cloud and broke through the top. The Pegasus warrior gave her a wings of mighty flap, gliding in midair for a second, as droplets of water flew off her wings before she tucked them in and dove back into the dark cloud. She dived through the storm like a sinking rock, and it was like the storm angered her impudence, but she didn't care. She was Raindrops of Clan Drops, Barbarian Queen! She came out the bottom of the cloud, sword firmly in her jaw, trailing a mass of lightning-charged water vapor behind her. She let out an inarticulate battle cry, muffled by the sword handle in her mouth, as the archers spotted her. It was too late for them by this point. She cut down the first one on her left in half as he slipped down on the parapet, her sword dragging into the purple reptilian's scaly midsection, sending green blood spraying everywhere. She stomped her hoof on his ugly foot to hold his quickly dying body in place, and yanked Sundraker out, following her motion quickly to lock the head of the archer on her right. After that, she bowled forward, her horned helmet aimed at the wall in front of her. With a resounding crash, Raindrops broke through the masonry like one would break down a wooden door, finding herself on a long, smooth corridor lit by torches. Behind her, the charged clouds that had followed her landed. She could hear the scream of pain of the lizards that she hadn't cut down with her sword. The smell of cooked lizard and ozone filled the air, but Raindrops didn't have time to appreciate the aroma. Another lizard, this one carrying a large axe in hand, appeared at the end of the corridor. His other hand held the chains of two of the ugliest dogs Raindrops had seen this side of the Diamond Dog Enclave. The two hounds barked at her, sending drool flying out their misshapen jaw. The lizard hissed and pointed his axe at the Pegasus before letting loose the pair of dogs. Raindrops stared down at the two beasts as they charged at her. The fastest of the pair pounced at her, jaw open wide to reveal sharp fangs. She flared her wings and leapt up toward the ceiling. She rolled in midair, swinging her sword downward in a synchro motion that cut deep into the back of the dog's neck, severing its spinal cord in a single explosion of blood. Her sandal hooves connecting with the ceiling, just as the second dog reached her former position and barked at her. Her horned helmet landed with a loud noise on the stone floor below, surprising the hound. It would be the last time that the dog would bark as she propelled herself from the ceiling, charging down headfirst toward the floor. She cut down the other beast at the same time as her front hooves hit the stone floor, and it had died by the time her rear hooves landed a second layer. She was now standing with her back to the back lizard, and she knew he wouldn't let the opportunity pass, so she quickly turned around and brought her sword to bear. Just in time to block the incoming strike from the lizard's axe. The two weapons connected in a shower of sparks. Sundraker was an exceptional weapon, crafted by the cloud sages of Moon Mountain as a reward for Raindrops' brave deed. It would not fail her, and the two opponents exchanged blows, each time creating a shower of sparks. Finally, the lizard went in for a overhead strike with all of his might. Raindrops let out another muffled cry and struck with all her might. Yet shattered to pieces, unable to cope with the strain of battle, before the surprised eyes of the lizard. His surprise grew tenfold when Raindrops, carried by her momentum, brought her sword around and stabbed through the abdomen. The massive lizard creature coughed green blood as he stumbled away from Sundraker. and he fell down on his back and gurgled out the last few words. His eyes were still wide open in shock, but they would see no more. Raindrops felt no remorse at killing him. He liked to kick puppies. The Pegasus warrior retrieved her helmet and ran down the corridor. She ran into a group of reptile warriors, but she mowed them all down swiftly, barely slowing her pace. She went down a flight of stairs, encountering a prison cell filled with beautiful mares and even a female griffin. With a buck of her powerful leg, she shattered the padlock, keeping the cell locked, and shooed the prisoners away. She went down some stairs again, then up a flight, before turning down a corridor into a room and slaughtering a group of reptile warriors on their break. Finally, Raindrops reached the large wooden door at the inner sanctum. On the large oak doors was etched the dark symbol of Torka, a dark snake coiled around a spear. Thanking her weapon, the Pegasus sheathed her sword. Raindrops lowered her head, pawed at the ground, and charged headlong into the doors. The doors exploded into the inner sanctum, sending splinters of wood and the metal hinges flying into the pools of acid, dotting the cavernous room. The room was apparently carved out of rock, as though Torka had built the fortress of Ugn atop a small mountain, encasing the natural formation in dark stone. The room was large, circular, and illuminated by a large, unpolished glowing crystal high on the ceiling. The torches were still lighting the wall and bringing light to the banners hanging on at regular intervals. In a circle around the room were 7 circular pools of green, bubbling acid. In the center of the formation were strewn rich carpets and cushions. At the very center of the room, on a silver pedestal, stood a golden box with air holes in it. Below that box, standing with her back to Raindrops and doing an incantation in front of the large crystal ball, stood the robed form of Torka, the Evil Enchantress. The equinoid form turned around, only dark, glowing purple eyes visible under the dark hood. Raindrops had never seen the Evil Enchantress, but it was said that she had sacrificed her whole clan to gain power, and that she had gained control of the lizard people using those same powers. The pony, she was indeed a pony anymore, stood before Raindrops, was clad in a dark robe with long sleeves and a dark blue cape. "Get her!" screamed Torka, pointing a blue hoof tip toward the Pegasus. Dozens of purple reptillian guards, all wielding various weapons, seemed to drop from nowhere, as if melting from the shadows. They rushed toward Raindrops as one, swarming from her from all sides. Soon, Raindrops had disappeared from Torka's view, but that didn't last long, as all of Torka's lizards were sent flying by an explosion of fury and strength. Most dust landed against the stone surface of the walls or floor. A few unlucky ones disappeared in pools of acid. "Your underlings will stop me, Torka! I am here to take Prince Miche back!" "Foolish Pegasus! Who do you think you are? Barging into my Dark Fortress! No one who dares stand against me may escape alive!" "I am Raindrops of Clan Drops, Barbarian Queen of Northern Peaks, student of the cloud sage of Moon Mountain, and savior of Darab. I am the one who will always stand against tyranny and evil, regardless of risk. I am the one who will end your terror, Torka!" declared Raindrops, drawing Stormdrinker once again. "You're not the only student of the Cloud Sage, Dropsy," said a new voice. A brown Pegasus stallion with a powerful build landed between Raindrops and Torka. He was clad in a white pelt of Yeti and carried a sword at the waist. "Halter!" said Raindrops through her soul hilt. The Pegasus mercenary known as Halter was Raindrops' greatest rival and most bitter enemy. They had once both trained under the Cloud Sage, but Halter was a warrior without honor, who looked down and abused those weaker than him. He was cast away in disgrace, and now worked for the vilest of scums found in the 8 kingdoms. It was not really surprising to see him working for Torka. Halter drew his weapon, a red sword forged out of dragon scale. Without further words, the two Pegasi clashed at each other. The two clashed in a brutal dance of steel and sound. Sparks flew each time their swords connected. Neither warrior seemed to be taking the edge on the other, each taking their turn to push the other backward. Soon, they took to the air, flying around the room, much to Torka's amusement. They raced alongside each other, trading blows and muffled insult at one another. Finally, Raindrops pierced through Halter's defenses and drew first blood as he nicked his wings slightly, sending him tumbling toward the ground. He recovered enough not to crash, but he wouldn't be taken to the air for a day or two. The two were soon fighting on the ground, but Halter was now filled with renewed vigor. In one final clang, Halter sent Sundrinker flying away from Raindrops' grip. Sundrinker won't fail Raindrops, but she was not as infallible. Luckily, the Barbarian Queen did not land in a pool of acid. Ha ha! I finally got the better of you! Ha 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 ha! Raindrops quickly spun around and bucked him in the face. He staggered backwardly in a daze. I barely heard her shout a battle cry as she charged him. Viciously, she clocked him in the face with her front hooves, making him lose grip on his own weapon. She delivered a powerful uppercut that shattered his jawbone, and Halter crumpled to the floor. Having dealt with him, Raindrops turned her back to Torka. Do you have any more fire from my fury, Enchantress? Or will you finally face me? Called Raindrops. The evil Enchantress, who does evil dances, stared at the warrior as dark lightning began to crackle around her. A third eye, the glow of a unicorn's horn, began to glow beneath Torka's hood as he rose in the air. Fool! I will drain you of all your life energy until nothing is left but behind a dark tusk! You think you are the first to try to take me down! Many have tried to slay me before, and they have all failed! No sword, hoof, beak, nor claw may harm me as long as I possess my dark power! Their skulls now adorn the shells of my private chamber! Said Torka. Her voice reverberated through the enormous cavern room. I am not afraid of you, replied Raindrops, fetching Sundrinker. Torka responded by pointing her hoof down toward Raindrops, sending dark bolts flying through the air. Bravely, Raindrops stood her ground and swung Sundrinker. The sword deflected the lightning, sending it to incinerate a random cushion. Oh, I really like that one. The two more bolts were flung her way, and both times Raindrops trusted her sword. I am not afraid, because I know the secret source of your power is that crystal! Said Raindrops, galloping toward the crystal ball Torka had left behind when she flew upward. What? No, you can't! Said the panicked Enchantress, when the Pegasus swung her sword to strike the crystal ball. Sundrinker shattered the crystal in a grand crashing sound. There was a sudden blinding explosion of magical power, and Raindrops was finally blown backwards, the sword escaping her grasp. Raindrops' sight returned before her hearing, but she could still tell the unicorn was laughing at her. The unicorn was still levitating above the ground, crackling with dark power. Was it possible? But all that she had learned told her the source of Torka's evil power was the crystal. Why else would Torka be performing incantations in front of that ball? Why did it explode with fell energy? Raindrops looked around her, spying Sundrinker, badly mangled, laying away from her. You really think it would be that easy? See her, Torka asked as her ears stopped ringing. The proud Barbarian Queen turned to glare at the evil Enchantress, finding herself blinded by the room's main light source. Torka shot her left foot forward and fired another bolt of lightning. Oh, come on, Torka. What about the beauty of unarmed combat? This is unarmed combat. This is pure natural energy. It powers the trains from Napalm to Manhattan. It gives life to many energy sources. And it also powers me. I never get to do that line. This is when it hit her. Not literally, of course. Raindrops easily dodged the bolt of lightning Torka threw at her, only metaphorically. It wasn't the crystal ball that was the source of her power. Raindrops bravely flapped her wings and flew toward the Enchantress. This might be a foolhardy move, but it was her best bet. She dodged another attack, and then collided with the Enchantress, pushing her upward. Up from close, Raindrops could make the emancipated pace of the blue mare under the hood. Then her orbits were devoid of physical eyes. Nothing but evil energy glowing mentally at her. You think that you can beat me with brute strength? Fool! My power makes me invincible! No mortal can harm me! Said Torka. You're just a bonus! My real goal is right behind you! Simply said Raindrops. Realization, then fear, dawned on the monster's face. No! Was all she could let out before Raindrops rammed into her in a large crystal in the ceiling, the true source of her dark power. Cracks formed all around the body of Torka, Raindrops having encased the evil Enchantress into the crystal. The cracks began to spread all over the large stone, as it began to flash from white to the color of Torka's lightning. "No! What have you done? No! You kill us all!" said Torka, as the whole room began to shake and rumble. Raindrops didn't waste her time. She flew back down to collect the Sun Drinker, sliding its magical form from her belt, then went to grab hold of the prince's golden prison. With a grunt, she effortlessly lifted it off its pedestal and flew back to the entrance door. The whole fortress was shaking now, light from the crystal apparently coursing throughout the structure along invisible circuits in the walls. The few reptiles Raindrops encountered were too busy running away to try and stop her. Soon, she emerged from the door leading to the parapet and flew away into the distance. She managed to latch behind a large rock just as the Dark Fortress of Ugn exploded into light and shards of dark rock. While debris still rained from the sky, celebrating her victory, Raindrops bucked open the cage. Sure enough, her beloved, Prince Miche, was there. She looked fondly upon his golden form, a relieved smile spreading over her stern features. She threw her helmet away and helped him out of his prison, his delicious smell filling her nostrils as she felt lightheaded. "Oh, my love, I'm so happy to see you again," she said, hugging the large loaf of bread. "I was so worried. Kiss me, my love. Kiss me, Prince Miche," she added, before taking a bite out of the bread. Raindrops woke up with a start as the alarm clock on her nightstand rang loudly. With a grunt, she punched the offending item and sent it flying to the wall. She slowly sat up on her bed to rub the sleep out of her eyes with her hooves. Memory from her dream flashed through her mind, making her blush with embarrassment. "That's the last time I eat bread before going to bed." No review, people. Sorry. Just too silly.